There is a rhythm in all of us. There is a rhythm in everything.
All your senses, everything you touch, everything you see, hear, smell, and taste. It's all different rhythms, vibrations.
Everything that happens has a rhythm. The day, the night, the changing seasons, every breath, every heartbeat. There's all rhythm.
Each culture's music is just a different interpretation of rhythm light. Tribal music is a foundation.
Tribal music is the roots of all forms of music.
There's really no difference between tribal music and the forms of music we make today.
There is a difference in sound, but the ways in which we express life's rhythms are equally sacred. The first animal to tap a stick against a log made a technological breakthrough. What we're doing now is we're just making different technological breakthroughs. This is a new level of sound, 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 a new level of sound.
Manifesting those dreams and making visions come here, now, and happen. It's about all those ideas that you have in the back of your head that you want to express to people, all of those things that you don't express to people because you've got stuff in front of you. It's about bringing all that to light and making it happen. And there's a huge community of people who've invested energy to help us get it all going on and make it happen.
Bass is the force that moves you. It's that thing that's present in music that actually physically does something to you, you know? It doesn't just vibrate a little piece in your ear, it's like hitting you. And that energy, just the frequencies, the wavelengths, physically change what your body, how your body is reacting to its environment. Because your environment is like, you know, moving air.
You know, if you saw me on the street or somebody, you know what I mean, look at that big brother, I'm not gonna fucking talk to him. You know, he looks all mean or, you know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Oh, never met.
Yeah, you know, or oh, look at that guy's fucking a freak. Look at him. But then you're there and you meet this freak, or you meet this big brother, or you meet this white guy, you meet this Japanese person, and it's all good. You're like, oh wow, we got all these common things, you know, or, you know, these things in common more than you would have never known. And that's what I'd probably say to someone. You can meet some cool people. And
peace of mind.
Okay, I gotta
It all flows as the DJ spins musical beats for our dancing feasts. The people we greet and meet say their lives have been made complete by the beat.
seriously, I tried to count like last week. I was like sitting there going, okay, I went to this party, I went to this party, I went to this party, I went to this party. I couldn't count. Like seriously, I couldn't remember. Cause like I would get to like, I'd be like, okay, 15. And then I'd be like, but okay, 15. And then like 5 minutes later, I'd be talking about something and I was like, oh yeah, I was at this party. And I was like, wait a minute, 16, okay. And then it would happen again and I'd be like 17. And, dude, I have no idea.
Like, I didn't really understand, like, what it was all about, you know? I had no idea before I went to kind of a party. And it was really cool. Like, I totally understood it after I got there. Because I've been in atmospheres where I feel, you know, a lot of friendly people and that sort of thing. And that's what it was to me. It was just like a large group of people that were just so nice and just so happy to share something with each other, you know? And it was really cool, really cool.
It gives me a place where I feel that like I'm accepted for me, just for me, and not like what I have or like the clothes that I wear or anything. This provides a lot of good like energy and support and like love when you need it, and like there's a lot of really great people here that have high aspirations.
Hello!
If you're truly appreciating a rave is more than the shit on the walls and the neat lighting. A rave is the music, and usually they vary their DJs pretty often. A rave is the people you meet there. A rave is the dancing. And a rave is just having fun, you know?
Everybody gets to bring in what they've got and who they are and throw that into the mix, and they don't have to fit into any sort of category. And not only that, but not only they don't have to fit into any sort of category, but nothing does. No party does. No group of people does. I mean, it's wide open. The possibilities are endless with the whole party scene. It can go any direction, and all of it is perfectly all right. I mean, really.
Well, it's a product of the sampling generation. That's what we are. Everything that we do in our life is a product of something from the past, and taking it now and changing it around a little bit and doing it in our way, you know. And it's just like that with our music, and down to the way we dress, to the way we talk, you know.
Because the set of values that it's promoting is really critical to our society. I mean, it promotes plur, peace, love, unity, and respect. And to have a scene where you can say, the people in the scene are cool, the people in the scene are where it's at, the people in the scene are cutting edge, and I want to be like them. And have those people be accepting and friendly and warm and loving and caring and sharing and supporting, I think that's tremendous. I think that's probably one of the most powerful things the rave culture can do for society as a whole.
Plur is, I mean, a lot of people say they are all down with it and they're all plurry and everything, but, you know, it takes a certain kind of person to be that way all the time. You know, what I hope is that when people go home from the party and during the week, like on Wednesday, you know, and they're at school or they're at work, they're still the friendly, open type of person that, you know, they are at a party. And there's definitely a unity at the party because you're all there for the same reason. You all like the same thing, you know, and there's definitely a connection there because of that.
I mean, the fulfillment the music gives me and watching other people just moving in unison to the same beat, feeling the same groove as you. I mean, sometimes there's parts in a song, you know, when it rises and it just hits that peak and everybody at once just goes, starts yelling and screaming. I think that's a great thing that I can share with other people.
A good party for me is a nice family vibe. It's a lot of people that you can turn and smile at, and they'll smile back at you. Being able to come into a party and dance and feel very comfortable with all the people around you, feel comfortable with meeting the people around you. Very different from the feeling you might get going into a club where there's a large separation between you and the people around you, where when you look at someone at a club, it means something. It's not just, hey, I'm having a great time, you're having a great time, let's share a smile. So that's kind of the two extremes of it. This party has that nice kind of family vibe.
Raving is as close as it gets to heaven, and we got to keep it together and stay unified and spread the joy around everybody.
DJ Grover, talking to you from Sesame Street. The name DJ Grover came up back in 2nd grade. We used to have this puppet type thing that we used to take around, and just kind of got dubbed as the nickname for me way back in 2nd grade. And then came up to DJing and was thinking of a DJ name and decided to use Grover. I started DJing probably about like the middle of 1992. Actually, I was just buying records in 1992, and then slowly got into DJing. Just kind of, had some friends that were DJing and showed me how to do it, so decided to pick up on doing it as well. I don't know, I like the trance stuff. Trance stuff is really cool. Breakbeat stuff's getting better again, and I don't know, it's a lot of ambient, chill stuff as well.
I know it ruined it, made me sick was when Bush came out with some of the pop culture bands come out, guitar bands come out and try to get their cut in on the electronic scene, and it
just to stay current.
David Bowie. It brings the bubblegum group in, not bubble, the pop culture.
Because there really is an art to electronic music.
A lot of people totally miss the point about electronic music and just hear it as it's what the kids are listening to, so let's make it.
I know there's somebody on there that remixes every new song that comes out, and a lot of the time they're trash it.
Oh, the top 40 remixes.
Yeah, they think like a top 40 song.
I think a lot of that's about money, but people buy it. It's what people buy, and as long as people buy it, they'll make it. So.
I think our music has a lot more truth. I think it's great, and I get really excited when I see the female DJs spinning out there. And I think more women need to get involved in that. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the scene, I love the music, and most of my friends are guys anyway, so I'm not bothered by that at all.
She's a tough chick.
I think that's changing a lot too. There's more female DJs popping up everywhere. You see them. Seattle.
All over the place.
Yeah. I think when people see us live, they trip out because it's, because we do some vocals, which a lot of bands, stay away from. So we try to mix a little bit of vocals into our live set, and when she comes out, people are like, whoa, shocked.
Jason and this is Steve.
with Golgi apparatus, we make electronic music. We started getting more into dance music so that we could perform it in a live setting and get immediate audience response. And plus it's more financially viable. Before I got into music, but film is too grand, too large a scale. It takes too many people to get your message or your statement across that you want to be making, and it's just too large a production. And music you can do immediately. You can just sit down, plug in, turn on, and just write.
Together, we're performing as a female. My name's Alex Keller. And my name is Travis Goring.
Radio.
Well, if you consider what people are accustomed to listening to in music, we're talking about like what people have been brought up listening to Western music. There are certain pop cadences that we want to hear, that our ears like to hear, that we respond to. You know when a piece of music is supposed to sound happy. You know when a piece of music is supposed to sound sad. And you know when it sounds like it's beginning, and you know when it sounds like it's ending. These are rules that are they're not arbitrary. They're not arbitrary rules. They're rules that govern the type of music that we're listening.
My friends were talking about DJs. They knew more about it than I did. Like, I swear to you, it's like, there's these Technic 1200s. I'm like, huh, really? I have these ghetto turntables. Like, oh no, there's these, because back when I started, like now, any kid can go and go, oh, they're gonna know about DJing, they're gonna know about, the concept. Right. And that's why like a lot of kids come up quick. I was addicted to buying records and music. And I remember dragging my mom out, man. My poor mom. And like fucking spending money, making her spend her money. She worked hard too, spending her cash. Like, hey, they want some records, and she would, and that was my deal though. I didn't do anything else. I did that, I went out, but I didn't really need a lot of money to go out. I did that, I studied classical music, so that's what I was on her good side, because I was like picking up right bass and playing in the symphony, so she was cool with that, so she would buy my records. It was buy me records and clothes. I was a clothes freak back in the day.
When I was a little girl, Donald used to live across the street from me, and his mom was such a nice lady. We always used to go over to his house, and his mom used to read to us. And Donald, I remember every single night, I just like sat in bed, and I couldn't sleep because I was a little girl, and I didn't know what this crazy music was. This is when I was it was 1985. Yeah. And I just like laid in bed at night, and I kept yelling at my mom. I was like, Mom, tell Donald to quit playing his music. I can't sleep. And so I guess I was like raised with it in my blood.
When I started buying records, I bought whatever I fucking liked. You know what I mean? When I first started buying records, I bought whatever that sounded good. So to me, the challenge of DJing is being able to put things together, to present it to people, so that you keep them interested, but let them hear all different types of stuff. I think that's important. It's an education in a way. Also, they get to hear all sorts of different things, and they're like, okay, this is fucking cool. I didn't hear just as House said. I heard like,
I'm more of a listener. I don't actually make electronic music. I'm a DJ. One step up from listener, where I like it so much that I actually like to play it for other people. But that's basically it. I'm just playing music for other people. And there's other people actually making it, but to me, that's my part in exposing and helping everything grow, is exposing the music to more people. Not just people at parties, but just my mom, everyone. I just want everybody to have that same interaction with the new. It's like the rave society worldwide is based on that. You know, you have the Christian religion worldwide that's based on the Bible or whatever. Our Bible is infinite in its records. So it's like I'm just, showing pages to people one at a time, basically.
Wonderful. Everything here is so beautiful. I mean, look at it. It's so great. I mean, how could you possibly not love this place?
Society tells us all drugs are bad and all drugs are evil and you can't use drugs intelligently at all. There's a danger there because as soon as you find out that that's not true, you can go and completely ignore the warnings and get into a lot of trouble. I think that the Northwest Rave's mailing list in part provides a forum for people to ask questions about, is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Is it smart to do this? Is it okay to do this? And have people who've done it and lived through it and who have continued professional, successful lives say, yes, this is okay, but be careful about this, or I really, strongly recommend against this, or please God, don't do this. Give me a phone call at home. Here's my phone number if you really want to talk about this. So I think it's another.
Well, in a lot of ways, it was one of the founding things about the culture in 1987 and 88 in Manchester. Club kids got sick of the clubs and decided to start breaking into warehouses and having massive eve parties. It's been a part of the culture since the beginning, so to be able to say that it's a bad thing or a good thing, it depends on your point of view. Personally, I just accept it as being a part of something.
I love it. It's nice. Everything's nice, and I don't worry about anything. Everything's beautiful.
Would not appreciate
Special K, crystal meth, cocaine, prohibanol. I mean, there's so many things that are in the scene right now that are just really bad for it and bad for the people that are taking it.
Yeah, I can't tell you not to do them or not to do them. It's gonna be the person's choice. You know what I mean? But I think when people come, they need to know that they don't have to do them. They don't want to do them. You know what I mean? And that's not why we're all in this room together. We're all in this room together to fucking hear some good music and dance and, like you said, let go of your tensions and fucking have a good time.
You know, and like let's say a kegger, you know, everybody's there to get fucked up. Everybody has a common goal. Similar, but you know, at a kegger you run into all sorts of problems just due to the alcohol. That's another thing about dance parties. That's why I'm pretty much against like 21 and over events, clubs, is because everybody's fucking drunk. How can you get enlightened while you're drunk? It's virtually impossible. I've seen us do a lot with psychedelic drugs, ecstasy, things like that. But that's not what it's based upon. That's just a byproduct of people wanting to get enlightened. And to get enlightened, sometimes you need a little bit of help.
I went sober for like the first 10 parties I went to, and yeah, I think you should definitely go sober for the first party and see what it's all about before you try and take it to that next level with some kind of like synthetic, you know, jump start. When they do drugs at parties, and then like they'll do a drug at a party and say it's like their first time doing drugs, and they'll just have like this amazing experience and they're like enlightened and moved, and then they take that as like, this was because of the drug and not because of the people and the music at the party. And then they'll just like throw themselves into that. Like, I need to take drugs to be at where I was before. And that's just like a cycle that's going downhill.
I've taken friends to parties before who've never really done drugs, or if they have, it's been in an entirely different setting. And I've told them, you don't have to do drugs to have fun at a party, but sometimes it can help. And for some people, it seems necessary. They don't do any substances outside of these parties, and they feel the need to do it. Personally, I don't. I've had just as much fun sober as I've ever had on drugs. That's just one of the things I live by. Substances are there to learn and, evolve. They're tools. And just like any tool, some people will choose to abuse them, and some will use them in useful ways.
No, well, kind of. I saw somebody freaking out hella bad and they got taken away by the ambulances, which was kind of scary to me because I was pretty high myself. But I've seen my friends have really bad trips and like have to leave all of a sudden out of nowhere. Like one time at some party, some guy was like he was getting taken away by the cops, and as he was leaving, he was like screaming bad E, and everybody started having bad trips.
About England, 5 years of people, every weekend dropping E. Acid, candy flipping. Eventually, I guess, they hit a dark side, where it's just the years of the drug use has finally just tweaked their brains, and all of a sudden it wasn't so peaceful and happy, and that's where the whole darker breakbeat and all that came out of. But Seattle, sort of a few years behind, Europe and Germany, England, where it originally started. So it's possible that backlash could hit eventually, where just too many people have done
too much brown crack.
Too much brown crack and too much of the colored pills. And they could hit a wall sometime as they are getting older, where they've just seen
experience. My dad always told me, you know, if your friends jump off the cliff, are you gonna jump off the cliff? You know, so you pretty much, you know, have to know your limits. You know, take it as, you know, recreation and not as, you know, as some sort of like a habit.
There's say X amount or X drug is appropriate. I think we all have our own personal limits, which we all try to respect, yet push, because God knows when we're pushing them, it's pretty great, but you got to respect those limits, and it all depends on yourself, on if you're ready to do what you want to do.
I remember the first rave I went to was really exciting, you know, getting on the phone and finding out where it is, and then it was exciting having the rave busted and going to another rave and having that one busted. That's fun, you know, the first few times you go to a rave, but after a while it's, you know, same music and same cops. You just sort of get tired of paying your money and then getting kicked out.
It was thrilling, but nobody really worried about the cops. And then there was the whole large-scale thing out there, and it was the whole ecstasy. I mean, ecstasy, what was it? Legalized in 88 or 89. It was legal up until then.
Violence is not something that goes on at a rave. I've never seen a fight break out at a rave. In fact, that just sounds kind of funny, you know? That's really about it. Apart from the things that people outside don't condone, I wouldn't say there's anything going on at all that's illegal.
Commercial parties have cops to the door. It's, you know, it works for some situations. Everybody can still have a good time. But in general, when you have two opposing forces like that, you have all these people that are spiritually inclined, if you will, and these people that are in direct opposition to that, and, you know, think it's bad. That energy being present of people thinking that what you're doing is bad, you know, promotes bad energy at the event. So it's directly contradicts the whole point of the party.
Misunderstanding. Not knowing exactly what's going on inside. I mean, if the police, I do have problems with the police, but I guess in the end all they're trying to do is protect people, and you gotta give them respect, because every day they go to their job and deal with nothing but shitty customers, you know? I mean, if you're working at a fast food place, you get a shitty customer, that ruins your whole day. Just imagine dealing with nothing but shitty customers.
There's cops on talking about raves in Florida, right? And like one guy was like going, okay, we understand there's peace and love, and he wanted to kind of work with the scene, and then they had like two guys like going, we want to fucking shut them all down, like, and there were cops like freaking out, you know, we just want to shut them down. We got LA right now, we got the mayor talking about you know, and like that's how things always have to go outside. Like LA already, there's some that get away in town, but you have to usually go Orange County or like, you know, somewhere, out of downtown.
Like the oppressors, I think would have to be all these old laws which are no longer valid anymore, and because like the whole mindset of the whole community and the whole world is changing with like the youth of today, and it's so apparent that like in the next few years that there won't be a choice left anymore, and these systems will automatically be eradicated because it'll be a whole new world. So I definitely see like the city wanting to get their own piece of the action. I mean, as far as taxes and stuff like that, you know, every big party that you have, you have to have at least, 2 Seattle police officers working there. So I mean, that's definitely, the city getting their little piece of the action. But I don't know, I'd say that they, are concerned about, the children. I mean, they are the future of the country, so they want to, make sure that everything's kind of on the up and up when, we're going to these parties.
It's more of a thing of, you're in there and I know you're having a good time and maybe partying a little bit. And when I say partying, I don't know whether that means drinking it or maybe taking some drugs or whatever, smoking some pot or whatever you might do. But, and again, I don't have any major problem with any of that. I mean, the problem I have is coming out of there and then driving home or getting involved with somebody that might be out on the streets that's pretty, pretty person you should be leery of. And something happening to you. It's when rapes happen, it's when, assaults happen, all the different bad things that can happen seem to happen during those type of hours. So it's just more of a thing of, these are young kids mostly at these raves, and, I just want them to be safe and not, get into trouble as they're leaving the rave. If they're having fun at the rave and that's their gig, you know, so be it. But you know, it's just more of a safety issue, I think, than anything else.
I think it'll progress personally. I think that that, you know, there's always something boiling on the underground, you know, like right now everybody uses disco loops and then somebody's down here doing something else and so that's going to emerge and that's going to be, but I think as electronic music or, you know, techno music as a whole, it'll just keep going. It's been here for years already, you know, if you think about it. It's been here since the disco days. Before the disco days, there's people tweaking on you know, electronic stuff in the 60s and then, you know, the 70s comes out and they formulate it and it's disco and then the 80s come out with new wave and it's still electronic if you think about it and then, you know, but then chugging under there is all this whole house music and, you know, house music was going on like, you know, like house music in the mid 80s, you know. So, and then that emerges and then, you know what I mean, and then there's, okay, you know, the Americans, like usually how it works, like the Americans come out with house, then the English, okay, we're gonna do it this way. Bam, and then we come out with something in English, we're gonna do it this way. You know what I mean? And they better it or like produce it better or like, you know, it's just crazy. And there's this exchange of this and that. And I think that's how it worked. And somebody betters it or twists it and makes it a little bit different. And so I think it'll always evolve, you know, unless we, you know, there's no electricity.
Music is a very unique art form. It's different than all other art forms in that every other art form is a static art form, but music is temporary in the way that you view it. Other art forms you can look at and observe from different angles, but music happens for a moment and then it disappears forever, unless it's recorded. But even still in your moment of observation, it's a temporary passing moment, so therefore your observation can be different every time.
Electronic music is created through electricity. Now we manipulate or we use or we harness that electricity into electronic gadgets to create the voice of electricity. Now when you say what is electricity? Electricity is something that is found in nature, so it's very organic, it's very natural. And when you say, okay, what is electricity? It is an energy. We say, okay, what is that energy? And that energy is vibration. And so we say, well, why does that vibration, that certain vibration makes us feel the way that it makes us feel? Now, when I listen to music, I feel like there's something is trying to get out of my body, or like takes me to places, it gives me visions, it makes me all like realizations, and I said, well, what part of it is it touching myself? I said, well, it affects my soul, something more than me, something like higher than something that I can relate to, but I can't pinpoint my finger to. And I said, what is that? I said, well, okay, it's our soul. What's our soul? Our soul is an energy. And it is timeless, it is ageless, it is genderless. So that is an energy, and that energy is vibration. So electronic music is also leading towards vibration, and our souls are also vibration.
Time is speeding up and music's going with it. Seriously. I think technology, through so far, I mean, the best way we've had to blend like a rising awareness with our technological advances has been the only way that love has been able to come through is through music, you know, using the technology for musical purposes. The only way I think so far we've been able to tie love in with it. I think that's, I don't mean to sound like a bleeding hippie, but I just honestly believe that that's, in the end, everything you do isn't going to matter where the hill of beans. If you die tomorrow and there's everything or nothing after you die, there's none of it's going to matter except for the only thing that could possibly matter is whatever love you produce or whatever creativity you've slung out there, whatever you've offered. I think this is just an extension of the whole 60s. Everything's been going in decades up to a certain point and things have been going faster. I mean, our whole society and everything is just faster and faster and faster. Music's going along with it. Kind of a sped up return to tribalism too. Like techno-shamanism, that kind of a thing. I mean, because the whole essence of like tribal ritualistic dance is repetitive beats, you know. People complain about the whole, but it's the same thump. Well, that's the point. I mean, there's a whole tribalistic ritual to the whole experience.
I think that, you know, majority of society views that have any view at all on what they think the rave scene is about think that it's nothing more than, you know, a drug, you know, a big event where kids go and do drugs. And that's just because that's the way that, for the most part, the media has portrayed it. And that's pretty much what majority of like Americans or housewives, you know, they want to see. That's what they want. That's what they want to believe. You know? It's they're attracted to that, the sensationalism.
I think in terms of spiritual awareness, it provides great opportunities for people to awaken to that side of themselves that they had hitherto thought did not exist, or did not even care to know whether it existed or not, because they were happy with what they had. What was the original question?
But now it's come to a point that like it's widespread. It's like a virus. And I think once the 100th monkey gets it, we will all get it at like the same time. And it's shaping people, at least it's tuning them more towards like the electronic age and how this music is supposed to be feeling, and all those archaic things of like stopping something like this to like celebrate life, or to more towards move the like people say to the new age, the age of Aquarius, or more into bringing sci-fi today, living much more of a new mindset is like evolving than what the mindset used to be before. And the mindset that like is happening right now, it's very powerful, because it's what's happening to like, let's say for the party scene, let's just talk about the music scene that we're at the moment. There's so much repression about us to like just to have fun, just to celebrate life, to enjoy the ecosystem, and to be much more healthy members of the biosphere. And a lot of these issues are being pushed upon, like right now it's becoming more like integrated in like the new community that we're growing into, that the whole mindset is changing. And like this, I think it'll come to a force together that will overstep these kind of boundaries and might cause some sort of a social revolution, because these
I feel like I'm a dancer, and when I can really move and channel and get carried away, that's true living, when actual spirit's coming through me. And any opportunity to dance and large numbers of people to dance with, and living artwork and promoting the creativity in all of us is a part of life.
Looks like a Muppet.